Have you ever wondered why life feels incomplete, even when everything seems to be in place? Maybe you've hit the milestones you thought would make you happy, landing that job, moving into a nice apartment, building relationships, but something still feels off. You smile for the photos, go through the motions, and tell yourself you should be happy. Yet, there's a quiet sense of dissatisfaction that follows you, a restless feeling that sneaks in when the day quiets down. This emptiness is more common than most people admit. We chase things, success, approval, comfort, believing they will bring fulfillment, but instead, we find ourselves in a cycle of wanting more. When you achieve one goal, there's always another waiting to take its place. And somewhere along the way, you might start wondering, is this all there is? You might even feel guilty about it, thinking, I have everything I should need. Why am I not happy? The truth is, many of us mistake busyness for purpose, comfort for peace, and approval for love. In a world that's always telling you to hustle harder, earn more, and never stop climbing, it's easy to lose sight of what truly matters. It's easy to fill your time with achievements, distractions, and social connections that look good on the surface, but leave you feeling emotionally drained beneath the surface. Happiness, real happiness, isn't something we stumble upon. It's something we cultivate. But too often, it gets buried under the weight of perfectionism, unprocessed emotions, or the pressure to meet everyone else's expectations. It hides behind constant comparisons and the endless search for things to prove your worth. And when life feels overwhelming, happiness becomes something distant, something you hope will arrive someday in the future, once everything falls perfectly into place. Here's the thing: happiness is not a destination. It's not a reward waiting at the finish line after years of sacrifice. It's a way of living, a mindset, and a choice. Yet, it's also incredibly easy to miss, especially when society teaches us to measure happiness by external things, like promotions, relationships, or possessions. We chase these things believing they will bring us peace, but once we reach them, the peace slips through our fingers. You might catch glimpses of happiness, a moment of stillness, laughter with a friend, or pride in a small accomplishment, but then the daily grind pulls you back. The emails, deadlines, social obligations, and endless notifications drown out those fleeting moments. And before you know it, the moments of joy feel like interruptions instead of the rhythm of life itself. True happiness is found when we stop running toward it and start noticing what's already around us. It's found in simplicity, in purpose, in the relationships we nurture, and the peace we cultivate within ourselves. It's about letting go of the belief that something outside of us will finally fix everything. The most powerful lesson is that happiness comes not from controlling every part of life, but from learning to respond to life with grace, accepting what we can't change, and focusing on what truly matters. Many of us carry the idea that happiness looks like a smooth, perfect life. We think we'll feel fulfilled once we eliminate challenges, avoid discomfort, or earn enough recognition. But life doesn't work that way. Struggle is part of the journey, and ironically, learning to embrace discomfort is what makes happiness more sustainable. Peace comes not from the absence of problems, but from the way we face them, by shifting our mindset and choosing to grow through every experience. Happiness also asks us to slow down, to breathe, and to reflect. It asks us to stop measuring our worth through achievements or other people's opinions. When you free yourself from the need to prove anything, happiness becomes more than a fleeting feeling. It becomes a steady, grounding presence in your life. It takes courage to stop chasing happiness and start living in alignment with who you truly are. It takes patience to let go of the belief that happiness is tied to future accomplishments and learn to find joy in the present. It requires unlearning the idea that other people's approval defines your worth and replacing it with the practice of self-acceptance. There's incredible freedom in realizing that happiness isn't something you need to chase. It's something you allow yourself to feel, even in the messiness of life. When you shift your focus from what's missing to what you already have, life begins to feel lighter. You stop looking for happiness in the next promotion, the next trip, or the next relationship. Instead, you find it in small moments, the warmth of sunlight, a deep conversation, or the satisfaction of doing your best, no matter the outcome. It's important to understand that happiness isn't about avoiding sadness or discomfort. It's about creating space for both joy and pain, knowing that every emotion plays a role in shaping a meaningful life. When you stop fighting against life's ups and downs and instead flow with them, you begin to experience a deeper kind of happiness, one that isn't dependent on circumstances. This kind of joy is resilient. It grows through challenges and thrives in simplicity. Happiness also grows in connection. It's not found in the number of followers or friends you have, but in the depth of your relationships. It's in the shared moments, the support you give and receive, and the ability to be fully present with those you care about. Connection nourishes the soul, reminding us that life is not meant to be lived in isolation. The happiest people aren't those who avoid struggle, but those who walk through life with a sense of purpose and connection, knowing they're not alone. If happiness has felt elusive for you, know this: you are not alone. Many people spend years looking for happiness in the wrong places, only to realize it's been within their reach all along. It's not about changing everything in your life overnight. It's about shifting your mindset, taking small steps toward inner peace, and learning to appreciate the journey. This book is here to guide you on that path, to help you uncover the hidden barriers keeping happiness out of reach and replace them with practices that cultivate lasting joy. The goal is not to give you a perfect life, but to show you how to find fulfillment and peace within the life you already have. It's about recognizing what matters most and letting go of what no longer serves you. Happiness is not a prize waiting at the top of a mountain. It's woven into the fabric of everyday life. It's in the way you treat yourself, the way you show up for others, and the way you learn to embrace life with all its imperfections. It's about living with intention, nurturing your inner peace, and creating space for joy, even in difficult moments. You deserve happiness, not in the distant future, but right here, right now. And the good news? It's not as far away as it seems. You don't need to change who you are to find it. You just need to slow down, pay attention, and reconnect with the things that truly matter. Let this book be your guide as you take the steps toward a life of genuine joy, peace, and fulfillment. Because happiness isn't something you find, it's something you create, one moment at a time. When happiness feels out of reach, the reasons aren't always obvious. Often, it's the subtle things, the habits we barely notice, that quietly erode our sense of peace and fulfillment. Day after day, these unnoticed factors build up, creating mental walls between us and the joy we seek. What makes this even more challenging is that these habits tend to disguise themselves as normal behavior, things society teaches us are necessary for success. But deep down, they chip away at our happiness, leaving us wondering why we feel stuck, restless, or unfulfilled, no matter how much we try to do things right. Social comparison is one of the biggest culprits, and it is everywhere. It creeps in as you scroll through social media, watch others succeed, or measure yourself against friends and co-workers. When comparison becomes a daily habit, it poisons your sense of self-worth. You start to believe you are falling behind, even if your life is filled with beautiful things. It distracts you from your achievements and makes you focus on what you lack, creating an endless cycle of dissatisfaction. Social comparison makes happiness feel conditional, tied to outperforming others. It's a race without a finish line, constantly draining your joy. This comparison trap affects even the strongest minds, robbing them of contentment. You might think, if only I had what they have, I'd be happy. But no achievement will feel like enough when you define your worth by others' standards. Breaking free means setting boundaries with technology and becoming aware of your triggers. Developing gratitude for your journey, no matter how imperfect, helps shift the focus back to yourself. When you measure progress only by your values, not by someone else's life, you begin to reclaim the joy that comparison steals. Emotional baggage is another silent saboteur. Past events, failures, heartbreaks, betrayals leave behind invisible wounds that shape how you view yourself and the world. Carrying this weight affects your ability to be fully present. It makes new opportunities feel like risks, trust feel dangerous, and happiness feel like something fragile that could break at any moment. If you haven't made peace with your past, it becomes hard to feel safe in the present. These emotional scars, often ignored or buried, can influence your behavior without you realizing it. A painful memory might trigger doubt every time something good happens, or unresolved grief may cause you to push happiness away, believing it won't last. Healing means bringing these emotions into the light, whether through journaling, therapy, or quiet reflection. Releasing emotional baggage doesn't erase the past, but frees you from being defined by it. Each time you let go, you make room for new joy to enter your life. Perfectionism can be another sneaky form of self-sabotage. On the surface, it looks like ambition, a commitment to high standards, constant improvement, and doing your best. But beneath the surface, it's fueled by fear, the fear of failing, of being judged, or of not being enough. Perfectionism makes happiness conditional, always tied to achieving the next goal or avoiding mistakes. It tricks you into believing that once everything is flawless, you'll finally feel satisfied. But the truth is, perfection is an illusion, and chasing it only leaves you exhausted and empty. When perfectionism takes over, even success feels like a burden. You may meet your goals, but feel no joy because your mind is already obsessing over what comes next. Learning to embrace imperfection is liberating. It allows you to take pride in progress rather than perfection. You realize that the value of your efforts isn't diminished by flaws. Life becomes lighter when you allow yourself to be human, to make mistakes, to learn, and to grow without shame. Letting go of perfectionism creates space for moments of genuine happiness, even when things aren't perfect. Over-reliance on external validation is another barrier to happiness. When your sense of worth depends on how others see you, life becomes a constant performance. You seek approval from friends, family, and colleagues, hoping their recognition will make you feel enough. But relying on others to define your value is like building a house on sand. It feels good for a moment, but it never lasts. The more you chase approval, the more fragile your happiness becomes. It only takes one critical comment or a lack of acknowledgement to make everything feel meaningless. The solution lies in finding intrinsic motivation, doing things because they matter to you, not because they will impress others. Building inner confidence allows you to enjoy your achievements without needing applause. You learn to celebrate quietly, knowing that your worth isn't tied to how others respond. This shift is empowering because it puts happiness back in your hands, free from the unpredictability of external opinions. Happiness becomes something solid, built from within, rather than something borrowed from those around you. Ignoring self-care, both mental and physical, is another hidden factor that steals happiness. We often neglect rest, reflection, and physical well-being in the rush to meet obligations and chase goals. Society glorifies productivity, leaving little room for stillness. But happiness isn't found in endless hustle, it thrives in balance. When self-care is ignored, burnout sets in, and even the things that once brought joy start to feel like burdens. Neglecting your well-being makes it impossible to show up fully for yourself or others. Restoring self-care means recognizing that taking care of yourself isn't selfish, it's essential. Simple habits like getting enough sleep, nourishing your body with healthy food, and creating time for reflection can change everything. When you feel rested and centered, happiness flows naturally, even during busy seasons. Mental care is just as crucial. Mindfulness, journaling, and meditation help clear the clutter in your mind and create space for joy. Self-care reminds you that happiness isn't a destination, it's something you cultivate daily by treating yourself with kindness. Each of these hidden factors, comparison, emotional baggage, perfectionism, external validation, and neglecting self-care, creates invisible barriers between you and happiness. But once you become aware of them, you can begin to dismantle these barriers, one step at a time. Setting boundaries helps you protect your peace. Embracing imperfection allows you to enjoy the journey instead of waiting for everything to be perfect. Finding intrinsic motivation reconnects you with what truly matters. And making self-care a priority ensures that you have the energy and clarity to live a joyful, meaningful life. Happiness isn't about fixing everything, it's about shifting how you approach life. When you stop comparing, let go of the past, embrace your flaws, and prioritize your well-being, happiness becomes something steady and attainable. It's no longer a distant goal, it's woven into the fabric of your everyday experiences. You begin to notice joy in the little things, a meaningful conversation, a quiet moment of peace, or the satisfaction of knowing you've done your best. Living a happier life is not about chasing grand moments. It's about the small, intentional choices you make each day. It's in the way you respond to challenges, the grace you offer yourself, and the kindness you show others. Happiness grows in these moments, gradually becoming the foundation upon which you build your life. The journey to happiness isn't about becoming someone else or achieving more. It's about uncovering the joy that has been within you all along. It's about recognizing that happiness isn't found outside yourself, but in the way you choose to engage with the world, no matter the circumstances. The road ahead will have ups and downs, but with these insights, you'll be better equipped to navigate them with peace and resilience. There's no need to wait for happiness to arrive at some distant point in the future. It is available to you right now, in this very moment, through the choices you make, the thoughts you nurture, and the boundaries you set. True happiness is not about perfection or approval. It's about living in alignment with your values, embracing your humanity, and creating space for joy, one small step at a time. Letting go of hidden barriers is just the beginning. Even more deceptive are the beliefs we carry about happiness itself, beliefs so ingrained they shape the way we think, act, and feel every single day. These ideas promise fulfillment, but only lead us further away from true joy. They make happiness conditional, tying it to outcomes, possessions, or constant positivity. The problem isn't just that these beliefs are wrong, it's that they stop us from appreciating the happiness we could experience right now. To find peace, we need to challenge these common misbeliefs and replace them with perspectives that allow happiness to flourish, no matter where we are in life. The idea that happiness comes from success is one of the most widespread traps. Society teaches us that achieving more, whether it's a promotion, wealth, or recognition, will finally make us happy. But success, by itself, cannot create lasting joy. External achievements are fleeting. They feel good for a moment, but soon the satisfaction fades, leaving us chasing the next goal. Real happiness doesn't rely on status or titles. It grows from how we live each day, not from reaching some distant peak. Reframing success to focus on personal growth and meaningful contributions makes happiness more accessible and enduring. There's also the belief that happiness requires constant positivity. This leads many people to suppress negative emotions, pretending to be happy even when they're struggling. But life includes challenges, and forcing positivity denies us the chance to process those difficult moments. True happiness embraces the full spectrum of human emotions: joy, sadness, frustration, and everything in between. By accepting all feelings without judgment, we learn to navigate life's ups and downs with grace. Joy becomes more authentic when we stop pretending everything is perfect and allow ourselves to feel what's real. The notion that material things equal happiness is another myth that leaves many feeling empty. While possessions can provide comfort or convenience, they do not create meaning. No matter how much we acquire, the joy that comes from things is temporary. When we place too much value on material wealth, we risk neglecting deeper sources of happiness like relationships, purpose, and personal growth. Redirecting focus from accumulation to appreciation helps cultivate contentment. The more grateful we are for what we have, the less we feel the need to chase after more. Some believe relationships are the ultimate key to happiness. While connection with others is vital, relying solely on relationships to feel complete is risky. Relationships are dynamic and imperfect. People will sometimes disappoint us, and placing all our emotional well-being in their hands can lead to frustration. Happiness flourishes when we build healthy relationships without losing ourselves in them. Balancing connection with independence allows us to experience joy in relationships without depending entirely on them for our sense of worth. The idea that happiness will arrive when I achieve X creates endless waiting. It ties joy to future events, whether it's finding a partner, getting a dream job, or reaching a specific milestone. This mindset keeps happiness just out of reach, always tied to the next achievement. Life becomes a series of ifs and whens, leaving us disconnected from the present. Learning to appreciate the small moments right now, rather than postponing happiness, frees us from this cycle. Fulfillment isn't something we reach, it's something we practice every day, regardless of what comes next. Another damaging belief is that happiness means avoiding struggle. This makes it hard to face challenges without feeling defeated, as though struggle is a sign of failure. But struggle is part of life, and happiness isn't about avoiding difficulties, it's about how we grow through them. Hardship can bring clarity, strength, and deeper appreciation for the good times. When we accept struggle as a natural part of life, we stop fearing it. Joy becomes something we carry with us, even in difficult moments, instead of something we lose when times get tough. Many people believe that others' opinions define their worth. This leads to a life shaped by external approval, where happiness rises and falls based on praise or criticism. Relying on others for validation is exhausting because it puts our peace in someone else's hands. True happiness requires building a sense of self that isn't swayed by others' opinions. When we focus on living according to our own values, we find stability. Happiness becomes something we create for ourselves, independent of what others think or say. Letting go of these beliefs allows us to experience happiness in a more authentic way. It's not about rejecting goals, relationships, or emotions. It's about shifting our mindset so that joy becomes part of the journey, not the destination. Happiness isn't a reward we earn for being perfect or meeting expectations. It's a state of mind we cultivate through acceptance, gratitude, and presence. By learning to detach from these false beliefs, We free ourselves to live with more peace and fulfillment, no matter what life brings. Breaking free from false beliefs about happiness creates space for something deeper, something more sustainable. This is where ancient Stoic practices come in, offering time-tested methods to cultivate lasting joy. Rather than chasing fleeting moments of pleasure or avoiding discomfort, these practices teach us to anchor happiness within ourselves. They guide us toward inner peace by focusing on what we can control and embracing life with grace. Joy becomes less about what happens to us and more about how we respond to life, no matter the circumstances. Acceptance is at the heart of Stoic philosophy. Life unfolds in ways we cannot predict or control, and resisting this reality only leads to frustration. Accepting what we cannot change does not mean giving up. It means finding peace with what is. Acceptance allows us to let go of unnecessary suffering and focus on what we can influence. When we stop fighting against life's uncertainties, we free ourselves from mental anguish and open the door to joy, even in unexpected places. Emotional detachment from outcomes is another key practice. It's easy to tie happiness to specific results, a promotion, recognition, or personal achievement. But the Stoics teach that we cannot control outcomes, only our efforts. When we detach from the need for things to go exactly as planned, we protect our peace. This detachment allows us to stay grounded, even when life takes a different path. Joy becomes something we cultivate within, rather than something dependent on external success. The art of negative visualization is a powerful tool for building gratitude. This practice involves reflecting on the things we take for granted and imagining life without them. By doing so, we develop a deeper appreciation for what we already have. Negative visualization shifts our focus from what is missing to what is present. It reminds us that even the simplest joys, health, loved ones, a warm meal, are gifts worth cherishing. Practicing this regularly helps us stay grounded in gratitude, making it harder for fleeting desires to steal our happiness. Daily reflection is essential in cultivating joy. Taking a few moments each day to reflect on what went well helps shift our perspective toward positivity. This practice trains the mind to notice small victories and moments of peace that might otherwise go unnoticed. Reflection also provides clarity, allowing us to see patterns in our thoughts and behavior. The more we recognize what brings us joy, the more intentional we become in seeking it out. Daily reflection reinforces the idea that happiness is built in ordinary moments, not just major milestones. Focusing on virtue and personal growth leads to a deeper sense of fulfillment. Virtue, in Stoic terms, refers to living in alignment with values like kindness, honesty, and wisdom. When we focus on becoming better versions of ourselves, happiness follows naturally. This kind of joy is resilient because it comes from within, unaffected by external events. Personal growth involves learning from mistakes, embracing challenges, and striving to be virtuous in all areas of life. Joy rooted in virtue remains steady, even when circumstances change. Practicing voluntary discomfort is another way to cultivate lasting joy. When we step outside of our comfort zones, whether by fasting, exercising, or taking on difficult tasks, we build resilience. This practice helps us appreciate comfort more deeply when it returns. Voluntary discomfort teaches us that we can endure challenges without losing ourselves. It shifts our mindset from fearing discomfort to embracing it as an opportunity for growth. This approach strengthens our gratitude and makes us less dependent on external comforts for happiness. Journaling plays a vital role in building self-awareness. Writing down thoughts, emotions, and experiences allows us to reflect deeply on our inner world. Journaling offers a space to process complex emotions, recognize patterns, and clarify our goals. It helps us see how our thoughts shape our feelings and actions, empowering us to make intentional changes. Through journaling, we gain insight into what brings us joy and what holds us back. This practice enhances self-awareness, making it easier to align our actions with our values. Cultivating resilience through silence is a practice often overlooked in today's noisy world. Stoic silence is not just the absence of speech, but a state of inner calm. It involves observing thoughts without judgment and responding thoughtfully rather than reacting impulsively. Silence gives us the space to reflect before we speak or act, helping us avoid unnecessary conflict. It also strengthens our ability to remain calm in challenging situations. Resilience through silence creates a stable foundation for joy, as it keeps us centered even when life feels chaotic. These practices work together, creating a framework for sustainable joy. They shift the focus from seeking happiness outside ourselves to nurturing it within. By practicing acceptance, detaching from outcomes, and embracing discomfort, we become less vulnerable to life's uncertainties. Reflection, journaling, and silence deepen our understanding of ourselves, helping us align our lives with what truly matters. The result is a kind of joy that isn't dependent on circumstances, but grows from the choices we make each day. The power of these Stoic practices lies in their simplicity. They require no special tools, only a willingness to shift perspective and adopt new habits. Each practice invites us to slow down, reflect, and engage with life more mindfully. They teach us that happiness isn't about eliminating challenges, but learning to navigate them with wisdom and grace. Over time, these practices become second nature, allowing joy to flourish even in the most ordinary moments. Stoicism shows us that joy is not found in perfect conditions, but in the way we approach life. It's in how we respond to setbacks, cherish small wins, and stay true to our values. These practices remind us that happiness is not a destination we reach, but a way of being. They guide us to live with intention, embrace imperfection, and find peace amidst the unpredictability of life. Through Stoicism, we learn that joy is always within reach, waiting to be cultivated moment by moment. Understanding the power of Stoic practices brings clarity, but true fulfillment requires habits that ground joy in everyday life. These habits create a foundation where happiness becomes a natural byproduct of how we live. Fulfillment and inner peace aren't found through grand gestures. They grow slowly through small, intentional actions. The way we structure our days shapes not only our experiences, but also how deeply we connect with ourselves and the world. Cultivating meaningful habits makes fulfillment sustainable, regardless of life's twists and turns. Daily gratitude practice rewires the brain to focus on abundance instead of lack. Gratitude helps shift attention from what's missing to what is already present. By recognizing small blessings, a kind word, a good meal, or a quiet moment, we build resilience against negativity. Gratitude also deepens relationships, as expressing appreciation strengthens emotional connections. The more we practice gratitude, the more naturally it becomes part of our thinking, creating a steady sense of contentment that carries us through life's challenges. Mindful meditation and breathwork teach us to be present in each moment. Instead of being pulled into worries about the past or future, mindfulness anchors us in the now. Meditation quiets the mind, making room for clarity and reducing emotional reactivity. Breathwork helps regulate emotions, providing calm in moments of stress. Together, these practices strengthen the connection between body and mind, allowing us to respond thoughtfully instead of reacting impulsively. Mindfulness makes life feel more spacious, enhancing our ability to find peace in even the busiest days. Regular exercise is essential not just for physical health, but also for mental clarity. Movement releases endorphins, boosting mood and reducing anxiety. Exercise sharpens focus, helping us engage more fully with our tasks. Beyond these benefits, exercise teaches discipline, a quality that extends into other areas of life. Whether through walking, yoga, or more intense workouts, consistent movement reminds us of our strength and fosters a sense of accomplishment. It reinforces the understanding that taking care of the body is essential to nurturing the mind. Engaging in meaningful work gives life purpose. It's not just about making money, but about contributing to something larger than ourselves. When our efforts align with our values, work becomes a source of fulfillment rather than a burden. Meaningful work allows us to use our strengths in ways that matter, bringing satisfaction and pride. Even in jobs that are not ideal, finding small ways to add value, whether through kindness or creativity, can make work feel more purposeful. The key is recognizing that the meaning we find in work grows from how we approach it. Prioritizing relationships that matter ensures that we invest energy where it counts. Not all connections bring joy or add value to life. Some relationships drain our energy, while others uplift us. Focusing on meaningful relationships, those built on trust, respect, and mutual care, creates a strong support network. These relationships enrich our lives, providing both comfort and inspiration. Spending time with the people who matter reminds us that fulfillment is not found in isolation, but in connection. Prioritizing these bonds ensures that we nurture what brings us peace. Simplifying your lifestyle clears space for what truly matters. When life feels overwhelming, it's often because we are carrying too much, too many commitments, possessions, or distractions. Simplification doesn't mean doing less, but focusing on the essential. By removing clutter, whether physical or mental, we create space for joy and clarity. Simplifying our environment and routines allows us to engage more fully with the things that bring fulfillment. It's about doing fewer things with more presence, turning ordinary moments into meaningful ones. Setting intentions rather than just goals aligns our actions with purpose. Goals are focused on outcomes, while intentions guide how we show up in each moment. Intentions help us live mindfully, ensuring that our actions reflect our values. They keep us focused on the process rather than just the result, reducing the stress that often comes with goal setting. Intentions also build resilience because they remain steady, even when external circumstances change. Living with intention turns each day into an opportunity for growth, regardless of what we achieve. Serving others selflessly brings deeper meaning to life. When we act from a place of generosity, without expecting anything in return, we experience joy in its purest form. Service connects us to others and reminds us that fulfillment grows through giving. Small acts of kindness, helping a neighbor, offering support to a friend, build a sense of purpose and strengthen community. Serving others also shifts our focus away from personal struggles, making room for gratitude and perspective. The joy that comes from giving is one of the most enduring sources of peace. Practicing forgiveness frees us from the burden of resentment. Holding on to anger or hurt weighs heavily on the heart, creating mental clutter that blocks joy. Forgiveness is not about condoning harm, but about releasing the grip of past pain. It allows us to move forward without being chained to old wounds. Forgiving others brings peace, but practicing self-forgiveness is just as important. Letting go of personal mistakes with compassion creates space for growth. Forgiveness liberates us, making room for lightness and renewed energy. Learning to say no is essential for protecting inner peace. Many people overextend themselves, agreeing to things out of guilt or obligation. But every yes takes energy away from other priorities. Saying no is not selfish. It's a way of honoring your limits and focusing on what truly matters. Setting boundaries allows you to give your best to the things that align with your values. It also teaches others to respect your time and energy. Learning to say no builds confidence, creating more space for the things that bring fulfillment. These habits are not quick fixes, but lifelong practices that deepen over time. Each habit builds on the other, creating a foundation where fulfillment and peace grow naturally. When integrated into daily life, these habits make happiness sustainable, not something dependent on circumstances. They ground joy in how we live, helping us navigate life with clarity and purpose. The journey toward fulfillment is ongoing, but with these habits, every step becomes meaningful and every day an opportunity to experience inner peace. Even with healthy habits, fulfillment can feel distant when emotional triggers are left unresolved. These triggers often operate quietly, stirring emotions that go unnoticed until they build into frustration, sadness, or restlessness. Recognizing these signs is crucial, as they reveal underlying unhappiness that cannot be solved by external achievements alone. When we learn to spot these patterns, we take the first step toward freeing ourselves from their grip. By facing these triggers head-on, we gain clarity, regain control, and create space for genuine joy to grow. Constant irritability or frustration can act like a low-burning fire, draining energy and souring interactions with others. This state often signals unmet emotional needs or internal conflicts that need attention. Irritability makes even small inconveniences feel overwhelming, clouding our ability to respond calmly. Recognizing frustration as a trigger allows us to pause and reflect on what might be causing it, whether it's stress, burnout, or unresolved feelings. When we acknowledge frustration instead of suppressing it, we begin to manage it more effectively and respond with greater patience. Feeling unmotivated despite achievements is another common sign of emotional misalignment. Success might check off external boxes, but it cannot substitute for inner fulfillment. When motivation fades, it often points to a disconnect between what we are doing and what truly matters to us. This misalignment can occur when we pursue goals based on societal expectations rather than personal values. Recognizing this trigger invites us to reassess our priorities and shift focus toward activities that align with our sense of purpose, reigniting motivation from within. Difficulty enjoying the present moment reveals an underlying struggle with mental clutter. When our minds are constantly occupied with worries about the future or regrets about the past, joy slips through our fingers. Even pleasant experiences feel distant when we are not mentally present. This inability to engage with the moment reflects deeper emotional unrest, perhaps fear, guilt, or unresolved grief. Learning to be fully present through mindfulness and reflection helps quiet these distractions, allowing us to experience life more deeply and appreciate its simple joys. Craving distractions is a telltale sign that something within needs attention. We turn to distractions, whether through screens, food, or endless tasks, not because we need them, but to avoid uncomfortable emotions. These cravings mask deeper issues, such as anxiety, boredom, or sadness that we fear facing. Recognizing this pattern offers a chance to pause and sit with our emotions, however uncomfortable they may be. When we stop avoiding our inner world, we build emotional resilience and develop the capacity to process feelings instead of escaping them. Persistent negative self-talk can be one of the most damaging emotional triggers. These internal dialogues, filled with criticism and doubt, erode self-confidence and happiness. Negative self-talk creates a filter through which we interpret experiences, turning minor setbacks into evidence of personal failure. Recognizing this pattern is essential because it allows us to challenge and reframe these thoughts. Journaling is a powerful tool for identifying these negative scripts, offering insight into how they affect our emotions. Replacing self-criticism with self-compassion strengthens emotional well-being and restores inner peace. Envy of others' successes reveals unresolved feelings about our own path. When we feel envious, it often points to areas in our lives where we feel inadequate or unfulfilled. Envy distorts our perception, making others' achievements seem like evidence of our shortcomings. Recognizing this trigger helps us shift focus from comparison to self-reflection. Instead of viewing others as competition, we can use their success as inspiration to realign with our own values and goals. Letting go of envy allows us to appreciate our journey and celebrate our progress, no matter where we are. Identifying emotional triggers is the first step toward managing them effectively. Journaling helps capture these moments, offering a safe space to explore emotions without judgment. Writing down thoughts and feelings allows us to uncover patterns and gain deeper insight into what triggers unhappiness. This process creates clarity, helping us understand the root causes behind emotional reactions. Once we identify these triggers, we can begin to reframe our responses, replacing habitual reactions with thoughtful reflection. Stoic reflection techniques provide powerful tools for managing emotional triggers. These practices encourage us to observe emotions without becoming entangled in them. Instead of resisting discomfort, we learn to sit with it, recognizing it as part of the human experience. Through reflection, we gain the perspective needed to respond wisely rather than impulsively. These moments of stillness help us see emotions for what they are, temporary states that do not define us. The more we engage in reflection, the more resilient we become in the face of emotional challenges. Awareness of emotional triggers empowers us to approach life with greater balance. When we understand what pulls us off center, we can create strategies to regain stability. This awareness brings freedom from reacting to every emotion that arises, freedom from the pressure to suppress what we feel, and freedom to choose how we respond. With each trigger we recognize and manage, we reclaim more of our emotional energy, creating space for joy, peace, and fulfillment to take root. Recognizing emotional triggers is only the first step in finding peace. To truly cultivate lasting contentment, we must develop a way of living that grounds us, even in moments of uncertainty. This is where Stoic principles become invaluable. They offer practical guidance on how to navigate life with clarity, stability, and purpose. These principles shift our focus inward, where true contentment lies, regardless of what happens around us. They teach us how to approach challenges, relationships, and even time itself with a sense of balance and wisdom. Through these practices, we begin to find peace, not by controlling life, but by learning how to respond to it. Control what you can, let go of the rest is a principle at the heart of Stoicism. Much of our suffering comes from trying to change things beyond our influence. This principle teaches that peace lies in focusing only on what we can control, our actions, thoughts, and responses, while releasing the need to control outcomes or other people. It's about accepting that life will unfold in ways we cannot predict, and instead of resisting, we learn to direct our energy where it will make the most difference. This shift in focus allows us to find contentment in any situation, knowing we've done what we can and releasing the rest. Finding joy in the present moment becomes easier when we stop waiting for ideal conditions. Life happens now, not in some distant future when everything lines up perfectly. This principle reminds us to engage fully with each moment, even the ordinary ones. Joy is not reserved for special occasions. It is found in the simple, everyday experiences, a conversation, a walk, or a moment of stillness. By grounding ourselves in the present, we become more aware of life's beauty, even in its smallest details. Presence turns fleeting moments into sources of lasting joy. Accepting life's uncertainties with grace is essential for peace. The future is unknown, and no amount of planning can guarantee certainty. This principle teaches us to embrace unpredictability instead of fearing it. Life's twists and turns are not threats, but opportunities to grow. By releasing the need for control over the future, we free ourselves from unnecessary worry. Grace in uncertainty means welcoming change and trusting in our ability to adapt. It allows us to face challenges with calm, knowing that even difficult moments are part of life's flow. Being indifferent to praise or criticism frees us from emotional highs and lows. When we rely on others' opinions to define our worth, we place our happiness in their hands. This principle encourages us to focus on living according to our values rather than seeking approval. Praise feels good, but it is fleeting. Criticism can sting, but it is not a reflection of our worth. Developing indifference to both allows us to remain steady, regardless of others' opinions. Our peace becomes grounded in who we are, not in what others think of us. Pursuing virtue, not pleasure, offers a deeper source of fulfillment. While pleasure provides temporary satisfaction, virtue leads to lasting joy. Virtue in Stoic terms means living in alignment with qualities like integrity, kindness, and wisdom. It's about doing what is right, even when it's difficult. When we focus on becoming better people, we experience a sense of fulfillment that external pleasures cannot provide. Virtue creates inner peace because it aligns us with our true values, making us proud of who we are becoming. Focusing on inner peace rather than external success shifts our perspective from achievement to fulfillment. Success, as defined by society, is often tied to wealth, status, or recognition. But inner peace is not dependent on external markers. It grows from living authentically and being at peace with ourselves. This principle encourages us to stop measuring our worth by what we achieve and start valuing how we feel. Inner peace becomes the true measure of success, a quiet contentment that is not shaken by life's ups and downs. Training yourself to respond, not react, is a powerful practice for emotional stability. Reacting is impulsive, often driven by emotion, while responding involves thought and intention. This principle teaches us to pause before acting, creating space to choose our response wisely. It prevents us from being controlled by emotions and allows us to act in ways that align with our values. Learning to respond thoughtfully strengthens relationships and keeps us grounded in challenging situations. It is a skill that brings clarity and calm to daily life. Reframing challenges as opportunities transforms difficulties into lessons. Life will inevitably present obstacles, but how we view them determines their impact. This principle encourages us to see challenges not as setbacks, but as chances to grow. Every difficulty carries a lesson, every failure an opportunity for learning. By changing our perspective, we turn obstacles into stepping stones for personal development. This shift in mindset allows us to find value in every experience, no matter how hard, and turns challenges into moments of strength. Valuing time as your most precious asset brings clarity to how we live. Time, once spent, cannot be regained, making it our most limited resource. This principle urges us to be mindful of how we use our time, focusing on activities and relationships that align with our values. It encourages us to let go of trivial pursuits and distractions that do not serve our purpose. When we value time, we begin to live more intentionally, ensuring that each moment is spent meaningfully. This awareness makes life feel richer, even in its simplicity. These principles offer a roadmap for lasting contentment. They show us that peace and fulfillment are not found in controlling life, but in how we engage with it. By focusing on what we can control, living in the present, and embracing uncertainty, we build resilience. Through indifference to others' opinions, pursuit of virtue, and a focus on inner peace, we create a life aligned with our values. Training ourselves to respond thoughtfully and reframing challenges as opportunities further strengthens our ability to find joy in all circumstances. And by valuing time, we ensure that each day is lived with purpose and intention. Integrating these principles into daily life transforms the way we experience the world. They become a guiding compass, helping us navigate with clarity and peace. Contentment grows not from perfect conditions, but from the way we choose to approach life. It's a quiet, steady joy that is not dependent on what happens around us, but on how we engage with what life offers. These principles remind us that true happiness is not something to chase, but something to cultivate within. The journey toward contentment is ongoing, but with these practices, every step becomes meaningful. Living by Stoic principles helps us cultivate lasting contentment. But even with the best practices, it's easy to fall into the trap of chasing happiness. Modern culture encourages us to seek joy in the next accomplishment, the next purchase, or the next relationship. But happiness is not something to be hunted or earned. It cannot be forced into existence. The more we pursue it, the more it slips out of reach. This relentless pursuit leads to exhaustion, disappointment, and a sense that no matter what we do, it is never enough. To break free from this cycle, we need to rethink what fulfillment truly means. The illusion of happiness chasing creates an endless loop of dissatisfaction. We set goals believing that happiness will come once we achieve them, only to find that the feeling is fleeting. The excitement fades, and new desires take its place, leaving us chasing again. This mindset keeps us stuck in a loop, always seeking, never arriving. The truth is that external achievements and experiences offer only temporary satisfaction. Long-term fulfillment can never be found in things or outcomes. It must come from within. Fulfillment from within means recognizing that joy arises not from what we have, but from how we live. It involves shifting our focus from achieving to being, from accumulation to appreciation. This shift helps us understand that we don't need to wait for happiness. It is available to us right now in the small moments of life. Fulfillment comes from aligning with our values, engaging with meaningful work, and nurturing relationships that matter. When we stop chasing happiness and start living intentionally, joy becomes a natural part of our everyday experience. The paradox of desire reveals why happiness eludes us when we chase it. The more we focus on obtaining something, the more we reinforce the feeling of lack. Chasing desires only deepens the sense that something is missing. Fulfillment cannot be achieved by filling this perceived void with possessions or achievements. The paradox is that true joy arrives when we let go of the need for it, when we stop trying to control life and begin appreciating it as it unfolds. Letting go creates space for happiness to arise naturally, without force. Aligning with nature's course instead of forcing outcomes brings peace and contentment. Life flows with a rhythm of its own, and forcing things to happen disrupts that rhythm. When we align with the natural flow of life, we learn to accept what comes and let go of what leaves. This alignment teaches us to trust that every experience, even the difficult ones, has value. Forcing outcomes only leads to frustration, because it places our happiness in things beyond our control. Fulfillment grows when we flow with life rather than fight against it. Focusing on purpose and virtue creates sustainable joy that is not dependent on circumstances. Purpose gives meaning to our actions and connects us to something greater than ourselves. Virtue, in the Stoic sense, means living in alignment with qualities like wisdom, courage, and kindness. These qualities guide us toward a life of integrity and inner peace. When we focus on purpose and virtue, happiness becomes a byproduct of how we live, rather than the goal. This kind of joy is steady and enduring, unaffected by the ups and downs of life. Living with purpose and virtue teaches us that happiness is not something to acquire, but something to cultivate. It grows from the way we show up each day, with kindness, with intention, and with an open heart. Instead of chasing happiness, we create it by embracing life as it is. Fulfillment becomes a natural result of living in alignment with our values, giving us a sense of peace that no external achievement can provide. Through this shift, we find that joy is not something to seek, it is something we become. Finding fulfillment through purpose and virtue teaches us that joy comes from within, but it is gratitude that sustains that joy over time. Gratitude shifts our attention away from what we lack and toward the gifts life offers, no matter how small. It breaks the cycle of longing and teaches us to see value in the ordinary. The more we practice gratitude, the more deeply we connect with moments of peace, even during life's challenges. Gratitude is not just a fleeting feeling, it is a way of living that opens our hearts to joy daily. A gratitude journal helps capture these moments by creating a space to reflect on what went well each day. Writing down things you are grateful for brings clarity to life's hidden blessings. It teaches your mind to search for positives, even on difficult days. This habit also builds emotional resilience, helping you reframe challenges as opportunities for growth. Over time, the journal becomes a powerful reminder of all the good in your life, especially when negativity threatens to take over. Expressing appreciation to loved ones strengthens relationships. When gratitude is shared, it deepens emotional bonds and makes people feel seen and valued. A simple thank you or a heartfelt message can uplift both the giver and the receiver. This practice nurtures connection, fostering a sense of belonging and trust. Gratitude toward others encourages kindness to flow both ways, creating a positive ripple effect in relationships. Negative visualization, a Stoic practice, offers another powerful way to cultivate gratitude. Reflecting on how life would feel without the things or people you cherish enhances your appreciation for them. This practice helps you see everyday comforts, your health, your family, your routines, as privileges rather than guarantees. Negative visualization shifts your mindset from taking things for granted to valuing what is already present, making each moment feel more meaningful. Focusing on small daily wins keeps gratitude alive. Achieving big goals can take time, but recognizing small accomplishments along the way builds momentum. Whether it's completing a task or taking time to rest, celebrating these moments reinforces the habit of gratitude. Small wins remind you that progress matters, even when it feels slow. Acknowledging these moments creates a sense of achievement that motivates you to keep moving forward. Practicing mindfulness in ordinary activities brings a deeper sense of gratitude to everyday life. Engaging fully in simple tasks, like drinking your morning coffee or going for a walk, makes those moments richer. Mindfulness helps you notice details you might otherwise overlook, cultivating a sense of wonder for the ordinary. This presence allows you to experience life as it unfolds, turning routine moments into opportunities for joy. Celebrating progress instead of focusing only on results creates lasting satisfaction. Too often, we wait for the final outcome to feel good about our efforts. But growth happens in stages, and every step forward deserves recognition. When you appreciate progress, you stay motivated and enjoy the journey rather than rushing toward the end. This shift in focus builds patience and encourages gratitude for each part of the process. Avoiding comparisons with others protects your peace and nurtures gratitude. Comparing your journey to someone else's diminishes your sense of accomplishment and fuels dissatisfaction. Gratitude helps you stay grounded in your own path, reminding you that your progress is valuable, no matter how different it looks from others. When you focus on your own growth, you free yourself from unnecessary competition and experience joy in what is uniquely yours. Volunteering or helping others cultivates gratitude by shifting your attention from your own problems to the needs of others. Acts of service remind you of the impact you can make, no matter how small. Helping someone in need puts your challenges into perspective and deepens your appreciation for what you have. Service also connects you with others, building empathy and reinforcing the idea that life's greatest joys come from giving. Reflecting on past struggles and how far you've come nurtures a sense of inner strength and gratitude. Every challenge you've overcome holds lessons that have shaped who you are today. Revisiting these moments reminds you of your resilience and the growth that emerged from hardship. Gratitude for these experiences transforms them from sources of pain into sources of pride, helping you embrace life's difficulties with greater acceptance. Creating rituals around gratitude, like morning or evening reflection, turns gratitude into a daily practice. These rituals build consistency, ensuring that gratitude becomes a natural part of your routine. Whether through journaling, meditation, or quiet reflection, these moments anchor you in the present and set a positive tone for your day. Rituals make gratitude feel intentional, strengthening your ability to find joy, even when life feels overwhelming. Gratitude is a choice we make every day, and the more we practice it, the more it becomes second nature. It teaches us to pause, to notice, and to appreciate the life we are living right now. Gratitude does not eliminate challenges, but gives us the strength to face them with a lighter heart. It reminds us that joy is not found in perfection, but in presence, in the moments we live fully and appreciate deeply. Through gratitude, we discover that life is enough, just as it is. Gratitude reveals the beauty of what we already have, but if we are prioritizing the wrong things, it becomes harder to experience that joy fully. Misplaced priorities create stress, exhaustion, and emptiness, even when life looks successful on the surface. It's easy to get caught in routines and habits that don't align with what matters most, leaving us feeling disconnected from ourselves and our values. Recognizing the signs that our focus is off track is essential. Only by realigning our priorities can we make space for the things that bring genuine joy and fulfillment. Overworking at the cost of relationships is a common trap. The pursuit of success often convinces us that sacrifices are necessary, but when we constantly put work above the people we love, relationships suffer. Moments with family and friends are replaced with meetings and deadlines, creating distance. Relationships need time, presence, and care to thrive. The more we invest in meaningful connections, the more balanced life feels. Realigning this priority means setting boundaries around work, making time for loved ones, and remembering that success is hollow without connection. Sacrificing health for temporary achievements is another dangerous trade-off. It can feel urgent to meet short-term goals, leading us to ignore sleep, nutrition, and mental well-being. But health is the foundation that allows us to enjoy every other part of life. Achievements are fleeting if we don't have the strength to enjoy them. taking care of our bodies and minds ensures that we have the energy and resilience to pursue long-term goals without burning out. Realigning with this priority involves scheduling rest, eating well, and making well-being non-negotiable. Pursuing validation from social media is a subtle but powerful distraction. It's easy to lose hours scrolling, seeking likes, and comparing our lives to others. Social media pulls us away from authentic connection and makes us dependent on external approval for self-worth. This endless search for validation leaves us feeling empty, as it is never truly satisfying. Realigning this priority requires reducing screen time, focusing on meaningful relationships, and learning to value ourselves without public recognition. Internal validation becomes the foundation for lasting confidence. Accumulating material things instead of experiences can leave life feeling cluttered but unsatisfying. Possessions provide comfort, but they don't create lasting happiness. Memories, not things, are what stay with us. Investing in experiences like travel, learning, or quality time with others brings deeper fulfillment than the latest gadget ever could. Realigning with this priority means choosing experiences that nourish the soul, even if they don't come with a price tag. It's about filling life with moments that matter instead of objects that only take up space. Overcommitting leads to burnout, draining our energy and robbing us of joy. When we say yes to too many things, we spread ourselves thin, leaving little time for what matters most. Overcommitment makes us feel productive, but it often comes at the expense of peace and clarity. Realigning with this priority means learning to say no when necessary and focusing only on the commitments that align with our values. Simplifying our schedule creates space for rest and reflection, making life feel less chaotic and more intentional. Neglecting rest and relaxation creates a cycle of exhaustion that affects every part of life. Productivity is valuable, but rest is essential. When we neglect downtime, creativity fades, stress increases, and relationships suffer. Rest is not a luxury, it's a necessity for well-being. Realigning with this priority means treating rest as a vital part of our routine. Whether through sleep, quiet time, or hobbies, relaxation restores energy and enhances our ability to show up fully in all areas of life. Realigning priorities is not just about doing less, it's about doing the right things. It's about being intentional with how we spend our time and energy, ensuring that our actions reflect our values. This process requires regular self-reflection to recognize when we've drifted off course. By making small adjustments, we create space for joy and fulfillment to grow naturally. Life becomes lighter when we focus on what matters most and let go of the rest. Through intentional living, we find balance, peace, and a deeper connection to what truly brings us happiness. Gratitude helps us recognize what is important, but misplaced priorities can quietly disrupt that sense of joy, no matter how grateful we try to be. When we focus on things that don't align with our values, life can feel overwhelming and disconnected. This misalignment creates stress, burnout, and dissatisfaction, even when everything looks perfect from the outside. Learning to recognize when we are prioritizing the wrong things is crucial to restoring balance and well-being. Shifting our focus back to what truly matters allows us to build a meaningful life where fulfillment flows naturally. Overworking at the cost of relationships may provide professional rewards, but it erodes emotional connections. When deadlines and work tasks take priority over time with loved ones, relationships weaken. The absence of presence creates emotional distance, leaving us isolated despite external success. Realigning priorities involves setting boundaries with work and being intentional about spending uninterrupted time with those who matter. Work achievements are fleeting, but strong relationships provide the foundation for long-term joy and support, especially during life's challenges. Sacrificing health for temporary accomplishments is another pattern that can slowly drain happiness. It's easy to neglect rest, healthy meals, or mental well-being in pursuit of career goals or personal milestones. However, poor health eventually catches up, making it impossible to enjoy those achievements. Realignment means understanding that health is an investment, not a trade-off. Prioritizing sleep, exercise, and relaxation ensures that we have the energy to pursue our goals while maintaining our well-being. Long-term success means thriving, not just surviving. Seeking validation from social media often leads to dissatisfaction rather than happiness. While likes and comments provide brief moments of affirmation, they leave us dependent on others for self-worth. External approval is fleeting and fragile, making us vulnerable to self-doubt. True validation comes from living in alignment with our values, not from how others perceive us online. Realignment requires limiting time spent on social platforms and fostering real-world connections that nurture trust and authenticity. Accumulating material things can feel like progress, but possessions alone do not bring lasting contentment. The thrill of acquiring something new quickly fades, and we find ourselves wanting more. In contrast, experiences, such as meaningful conversations, travel, or learning, stay with us, shaping who we are. Realigning our priorities means shifting our focus toward experiences that enrich life and create memories. Letting go of the need for excess material wealth makes room for joy in simpler, more meaningful ways. Overcommitting spreads us thin, making life feel chaotic and draining. When we say yes to too many things, we leave little room for rest, reflection, or spontaneity. This overextension leads to burnout, making even enjoyable activities feel like obligations. Realignment involves becoming more intentional with our commitments, choosing only those that align with our values and goals. Saying no to unnecessary obligations creates space to fully engage with the activities and relationships that matter most. Neglecting rest and relaxation disconnects us from our natural rhythm, leaving us emotionally and physically depleted. Productivity often becomes a measure of worth, but constant busyness leaves no room for restoration. Rest is not an indulgence. It is essential for mental clarity, creativity, and emotional resilience. Prioritizing rest helps us recharge and prevents burnout. Whether through sleep, mindfulness practices, or leisure activities, rest allows us to show up fully in every part of life, enhancing both joy and productivity. Realigning priorities is an ongoing process that requires self-awareness and reflection. It's not just about eliminating activities, but about ensuring that each choice reflects what matters most to us. Practical exercises, such as journaling or periodic reviews of our commitments, help us stay connected to our core values. When our actions align with those values, life feels more purposeful, and we find peace in knowing we are focused on what truly counts. Living intentionally doesn't mean avoiding responsibilities. It means being mindful of how we distribute our energy. Small changes, like dedicating time to relationships, prioritizing health, and saying no to unnecessary commitments, create room for deeper fulfillment. The more aligned our actions are with our values, the less space there is for stress and dissatisfaction. This shift makes it easier to experience contentment, even amid life's uncertainties. Ultimately, prioritizing the right things transforms how we experience each day. We begin to recognize that happiness is not about doing more, but about doing what matters. This shift requires courage to step away from societal expectations and create space for what brings us true joy. By focusing on meaningful relationships, well-being, authentic connections, and mindful rest, we cultivate a life where fulfillment flows naturally. Each realignment brings us closer to a life that feels intentional, balanced, and deeply satisfying. Realigning your priorities creates clarity and balance, but the key to maintaining this alignment and sustaining happiness lies in building resilience. Life will inevitably present challenges, and how we respond determines whether those moments diminish or strengthen us. Resilience isn't about avoiding hardship. It's about navigating through it with grace, finding meaning, and continuing forward with purpose. True happiness grows when we develop the capacity to stand firm, even when life feels uncertain. Resilience provides the foundation that allows joy to remain steady through life's ups and downs. Cultivating emotional detachment is essential for resilience. It means learning to engage with life fully without becoming entangled in outcomes or expectations. Detachment does not imply indifference. Instead, it allows us to care deeply while staying grounded. When we detach from the need for things to go a specific way, we free ourselves from unnecessary frustration. Emotional detachment gives us the strength to accept life as it unfolds and respond thoughtfully, rather than being overwhelmed by disappointment or fear. Practicing gratitude during tough times transforms hardship into a source of strength. Gratitude allows us to shift focus from what is going wrong to what remains good, even in difficult moments. This mindset helps us see challenges not as complete setbacks, but as part of a larger journey. Gratitude strengthens resilience by keeping us connected to the things that sustain us: relationships, lessons, and small joys. It teaches us that even in the darkest moments, there is something to hold on to. Strengthening your mind through voluntary hardship is another powerful way to build resilience. By intentionally stepping out of comfort zones, whether through fasting, physical challenges, or taking on difficult tasks, we train our minds to endure discomfort. These experiences prepare us for life's inevitable challenges, teaching us that we are stronger than we think. Voluntary hardship builds mental toughness, making it easier to remain calm and focused when unexpected difficulties arise. Reframing negative experiences into lessons helps us grow from hardship instead of being defeated by it. Challenges, failures, and disappointments often carry valuable insights if we are willing to look for them. Resilience grows when we shift our perspective from "why did this happen?" to "what can I learn from this?" Each setback becomes an opportunity to develop new skills, gain clarity, or strengthen character. This mindset allows us to transform difficulties into stepping stones toward personal growth. Building a supportive network of friends provides the emotional foundation needed for resilience. Strong relationships offer encouragement and perspective when life feels overwhelming. Friends and loved ones act as a safety net, reminding us that we are not alone in our struggles. Having people to lean on fosters resilience, as shared burdens feel lighter. Being part of a community also reinforces the idea that asking for help is a sign of strength, not weakness. Staying committed to your purpose during setbacks strengthens your ability to persevere. When challenges arise, it's easy to feel discouraged and question your path. Resilience grows when we reconnect with the deeper purpose behind our actions, reminding ourselves why we started. Purpose provides direction, giving us the motivation to keep moving forward even when progress feels slow. It helps us see setbacks not as the end, but as part of the process toward meaningful goals. Journaling regularly to track progress and emotions is a powerful tool for building resilience. Writing down thoughts and experiences provides clarity, helping us understand our emotions and recognize patterns. Journaling allows us to reflect on how far we've come, reinforcing progress even during tough times. This habit also serves as an emotional release, preventing feelings from building up unchecked. By documenting both successes and struggles, journaling strengthens self-awareness and reminds us that every step, no matter how small, contributes to growth. These strategies for resilience work together, creating a framework for sustainable happiness. Emotional detachment prevents us from being thrown off course by life's unpredictability. Gratitude keeps us grounded in the present, even when challenges arise. Voluntary hardship builds strength, making discomfort feel manageable. Reframing setbacks into lessons helps us see value in every experience, while supportive relationships provide the connection we need to thrive. Staying committed to purpose gives us direction, and journaling ensures we stay self-aware and intentional in our actions. Resilience is not about avoiding life's storms, but learning how to weather them with grace. Each of these strategies equips us to navigate difficulties while staying connected to joy. As we develop resilience, challenges no longer feel like threats, but become opportunities to grow stronger. With resilience, happiness is no longer dependent on perfect conditions. It becomes a state of being that endures, no matter what life brings. Resilience equips us to navigate challenges, but true happiness requires aligning with who we genuinely are. Living authentically means shedding layers of expectations, doubts, and fears to uncover your true self. This process is transformative, allowing you to break free from the pressure to conform and giving you the freedom to build a life that aligns with your values. Authenticity brings peace because it removes the need to constantly search for happiness outside yourself. Instead, it fosters inner alignment, where fulfillment flows naturally. Identifying your core values is essential to discovering your authentic self. Values reflect what matters most and provide a framework for making decisions with clarity and purpose. Without knowing your values, it's easy to get swept away by external pressures and pursue things that don't bring true fulfillment. Defining what you stand for gives your actions meaning. When your choices align with these values, life feels coherent, even during uncertain times. Letting go of societal expectations is a necessary step toward authenticity. Many people unconsciously chase goals that are shaped by cultural norms or family expectations, mistaking them for personal aspirations. Over time, this disconnect creates frustration and confusion. Releasing these external pressures means questioning what you've been taught to value and deciding what resonates with your truth. Freedom lies in shaping your path based on what feels right for you, not what others expect. Practicing self-reflection through journaling offers insight into the patterns that shape your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. Writing allows you to see yourself clearly, uncovering fears, desires, and recurring challenges. Journaling helps bridge the gap between who you are and who you want to become by creating a space for honesty. Regular reflection ensures that you remain intentional in your actions, deepening your connection to your inner self and revealing what truly drives you. Learning to say no to things that don't align with your values protects your emotional energy. Every time you agree to something out of obligation or fear of missing out, you move further from your authentic path. Saying no is an act of self-care, reinforcing the boundaries necessary for a meaningful life. It allows you to focus your energy on pursuits that align with your values and bring joy, strengthening your commitment to yourself. Embracing imperfections is crucial to living authentically. Perfectionism creates a false belief that happiness comes from meeting impossible standards. When you accept your flaws and vulnerabilities, you free yourself from unnecessary pressure. Imperfections are not weaknesses. They are part of what makes you unique. Embracing them builds self-trust and allows you to engage with life fully, knowing that you are enough as you are without needing to change or prove anything. Listening to your intuition reconnects you with an inner compass that often gets drowned out by external noise. Intuition is not about logic. It's a sense of knowing that arises from within. Trusting your intuition allows you to make decisions that align with your authentic self, even when they go against conventional wisdom. Strengthening this inner voice helps you navigate uncertainty with confidence, guiding you toward what feels right for you. Cultivating self-compassion ensures that you treat yourself with kindness, even when you fall short of your expectations. Living authentically requires vulnerability, which often involves making mistakes or encountering failure. Self-compassion allows you to embrace these experiences without harsh judgment. It fosters a gentle relationship with yourself, creating the emotional safety needed to take risks and grow. When you are kind to yourself, you create space for happiness to flourish. Surrounding yourself with supportive people reinforces your commitment to authenticity. The people in your life have a profound influence on your well-being. Relationships that align with your values encourage growth and make it easier to stay true to yourself. Supportive friends and loved ones provide both comfort and challenge, helping you navigate difficulties without compromising your integrity. Building these connections ensures that your relationships reflect the life you want to create. Creating goals that reflect your true desires ensures that your efforts align with your authentic path. Often, people set goals based on what they think they should achieve rather than what brings genuine joy. Authentic goals resonate with your inner self, giving you a sense of purpose and direction. These goals are not about impressing others, but about fulfilling what matters to you. Pursuing them fosters deep satisfaction as they align with your values and reflect your truth. Celebrating authenticity over conformity brings lasting fulfillment. Conforming to societal expectations may offer temporary acceptance, but it often comes at the expense of individuality. Authenticity, on the other hand, requires courage. It involves making choices that align with your values, even when they go against the norm. The freedom that comes with living authentically is unmatched. It allows you to engage with life deeply and meaningfully without the need for external validation. Living authentically is not about perfection, but about alignment. It's a journey of constant self-discovery, where each step brings you closer to your true self. The more you align with your values, the easier it becomes to make decisions that reflect who you are. Authenticity fosters inner peace, as you no longer feel the need to prove yourself to others. This alignment creates space for joy and fulfillment to grow naturally, allowing you to live fully and freely. Authenticity gives us the clarity to live according to our values, but without self-discipline, even the best intentions fall short. Self-discipline is the bridge between knowing what matters and living in alignment with those values. It brings structure to freedom, allowing us to experience joy not as fleeting moments, but as a steady presence in our lives. Discipline is not about deprivation. It is about creating habits that sustain happiness over the long term, giving us control over our choices rather than being driven by impulses or distractions. With self-discipline, happiness becomes a practice, not just a pursuit. Discipline brings freedom and peace by removing the chaos that arises from unchecked desires and habits. While it may seem restrictive at first, discipline creates space for what truly matters, clearing away distractions. It helps us set boundaries that protect our time and energy, ensuring that we focus on the things that align with our values. This structure frees us from the anxiety of living reactively, offering peace through intentional living. When discipline becomes second nature, we experience freedom in knowing we are in control of our actions. Building habits that align with your values ensures that your daily actions reflect the life you want to create. Habits form the foundation for long-term fulfillment as they shape how we spend our time and energy. Developing habits that support your values strengthens your sense of purpose, helping you engage with life meaningfully. The small, consistent actions we take each day determine whether we move closer to or further from our goals. Discipline ensures that these habits remain consistent even when motivation wanes. Instant gratification, though tempting, often robs us of lasting joy. The rush that comes from giving in to impulse is fleeting and often leaves us craving more. Discipline helps us resist these temptations, focusing instead on actions that bring deeper satisfaction over time. It teaches us to delay gratification, knowing that true happiness grows from efforts that align with long-term goals. Each time we practice patience, we build inner strength, making it easier to resist short-term distractions in favor of lasting fulfillment. Staying consistent in your personal growth journey requires commitment, especially during challenging times. Discipline keeps us grounded when enthusiasm fades, helping us push through moments of doubt or fatigue. Personal growth is not a straight path, and setbacks are inevitable. Discipline ensures that we continue moving forward, even when progress feels slow. Consistency builds momentum, reinforcing habits that bring us closer to our authentic selves and ensuring that growth becomes a way of life. Stoic principles offer powerful tools for maintaining self-discipline. The Stoic focus on controlling what we can and accepting what we cannot control strengthens our resolve. Discipline grows when we focus on our actions, knowing that we cannot dictate outcomes. Practicing voluntary discomfort, such as fasting or abstaining from luxury, teaches us to endure challenges without complaint. These small acts of self-control build resilience, making it easier to stay disciplined in more significant aspects of life. Discipline also fosters emotional resilience by helping us regulate our reactions. Instead of being swayed by emotions or circumstances, disciplined behavior allows us to respond thoughtfully. This emotional steadiness creates a sense of peace, as we are no longer at the mercy of changing moods or external triggers. Over time, discipline becomes a source of inner strength, allowing us to navigate life's ups and downs with grace. The discipline to say no to distractions ensures that we protect our focus. In a world filled with endless choices and demands, it is easy to lose sight of what matters. Discipline allows us to filter out noise and direct our attention to meaningful pursuits. Saying no is not a loss. It is a way of saying yes to what aligns with our values. Each time we practice this intentional choice, we reinforce the habit of living with purpose. Developing discipline in small areas builds confidence that extends into larger goals. Each small victory, a workout completed, a healthy meal chosen, or a goal achieved, reinforces the belief that we are capable of staying the course. This confidence becomes self-sustaining, motivating us to take on greater challenges. Discipline in one area creates a ripple effect, strengthening other aspects of life and deepening our sense of accomplishment. Self-discipline also nurtures self-respect. When we honor our commitments to ourselves, we build trust in our abilities and choices. This trust becomes the foundation for long-term happiness, as it fosters a deep connection with our values and goals. Discipline shows us that we are worthy of the effort it takes to grow and thrive. It teaches us that the pursuit of happiness requires dedication, but the rewards are well worth the effort. Through discipline, we experience the joy of living intentionally. Each decision becomes an opportunity to align with our values, creating a life that reflects who we are at our core. This alignment brings a sense of peace, as we no longer feel the need to chase happiness. Instead, Happiness becomes a byproduct of living with purpose and integrity. Discipline transforms our relationship with ourselves, turning effort into fulfillment and habits into joy. Discipline provides the structure to pursue what matters, but joy cannot thrive where perfectionism takes over. Often, the pressure to get everything right steals the happiness from our efforts, turning what should be a rewarding process into a source of stress. True joy lies not in reaching an ideal, but in learning to embrace imperfection and find meaning in every step along the way. Letting go of perfection allows us to connect with life as it is, flawed, messy, and beautiful. In the process, we learn that fulfillment is not found in flawless outcomes, but in the moments of growth, progress, and self-acceptance along the way. Letting go of perfectionism reduces stress by shifting the focus from meeting impossible standards to simply doing your best. Perfectionism often leads to overwork and anxiety, creating constant pressure to achieve more. This pursuit of flawlessness can be exhausting, leaving little room for joy or relaxation. Learning to release perfectionism involves recognizing that good enough is often more than sufficient. It teaches us to trust the process rather than obsess over results, creating space for creativity and enjoyment. Celebrating progress rather than outcomes helps us stay motivated and engaged in the journey. When we focus only on the end goal, we miss the small victories along the way. Progress, no matter how incremental, is a sign of growth and effort. Recognizing these moments allows us to feel a sense of achievement, even before reaching the final destination. Celebrating progress reinforces positive habits, making it easier to stay consistent and find joy in the process itself. The beauty of flaws lies in the way they make us human. Flaws are not failures. They are part of our individuality. When we practice self-acceptance, we stop seeing our imperfections as obstacles and start viewing them as elements of our uniqueness. Accepting flaws means embracing ourselves fully, including the parts we wish were different. This acceptance cultivates self-compassion, helping us find peace with who we are rather than striving to meet unrealistic expectations. Embracing uncertainty allows us to grow through discomfort. Life rarely follows a predictable path, and expecting certainty can lead to frustration. Growth happens when we learn to navigate the unknown with curiosity rather than fear. Each uncertain moment offers a chance to learn, adapt, and discover something new about ourselves. When we stop resisting change, we become more open to the unexpected opportunities that arise along the way. Happiness lies in the journey, not the destination, because the destination often shifts as we grow. The goals we set at the beginning may change as we learn more about ourselves and our values. If we focus only on reaching a specific outcome, we miss the richness of the experiences along the way. Joy grows when we engage fully in each step, finding meaning in both successes and setbacks. The process becomes the reward, teaching us that happiness is not a place we arrive at, but a way of living. Letting go of perfectionism also teaches us to welcome mistakes as part of learning. Mistakes are not signs of failure. They are opportunities to improve and refine our skills. Each misstep holds a lesson that brings us closer to mastery. When we approach mistakes with curiosity instead of shame, we unlock the freedom to experiment and explore. This mindset encourages us to take risks, knowing that growth happens when we step outside our comfort zone. Progress, even when imperfect, builds momentum. Each small step forward creates energy that fuels further growth. Momentum grows when we acknowledge the value of effort, regardless of the outcome. This mindset helps us stay motivated during difficult times, knowing that every bit of progress counts. Celebrating effort over perfection fosters resilience, making it easier to keep going, even when results are slow to appear. Self-acceptance allows us to experience joy without the burden of comparison. When we accept ourselves as we are, we stop measuring our worth against others. This freedom from comparison opens space for authentic joy as we find contentment in our own unique path. Self-acceptance nurtures a deeper connection to ourselves, building the confidence to pursue goals aligned with our values rather than seeking external validation. Uncertainty invites us to stay present and flexible. Life's unpredictability is not a problem to solve, but a reality to embrace. Each unexpected event brings new insights and opportunities for growth. By letting go of the need for certainty, we learn to trust ourselves to handle whatever comes. Flexibility allows us to adapt to changing circumstances, ensuring that we continue growing even when life takes us in unexpected directions. Joy emerges naturally when we engage with life fully, without waiting for conditions to be perfect. Each step we take on the journey offers moments of meaning, connection, and growth. Learning to embrace imperfection turns everyday experiences into opportunities for joy. The process becomes a source of fulfillment in itself, reminding us that happiness is not something we chase, it's something we cultivate along the way. Embracing imperfection allows us to release unnecessary stress, but building a resilient mind ensures that negativity does not take root and undermine our joy. The mind, left unchecked, can easily slip into patterns of doubt, fear, or overthinking, making it harder to maintain happiness. Strengthening the mind against negativity is not about avoiding challenges. It's about developing the tools to respond with clarity, reason, and resilience. With the right practices, we can train the mind to navigate difficulties with grace and stay grounded in positivity, even in the most uncertain times. Journaling offers a powerful way to process emotions, providing clarity by transferring thoughts from the mind to the page. It allows us to observe our inner world without judgment, helping us identify patterns, triggers, and underlying fears. Writing regularly creates a habit of reflection, making it easier to understand complex emotions and release those that no longer serve us. Through journaling, we gain self-awareness, which helps us respond to challenges thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. Meditation builds mental clarity by creating space between thoughts and emotions. It helps us observe the mind without becoming entangled in its stories. Practicing meditation regularly quiets the noise of mental chatter, reducing stress and enhancing focus. This mental stillness allows us to approach life with greater calm and insight. With clarity comes the ability to respond to negativity with patience and wisdom, rather than being swept away by it. Challenging negative thoughts with reason prevents us from falling into cognitive distortions. The mind often creates exaggerated fears or assumptions that do not reflect reality. Using logic to examine these thoughts weakens their grip, allowing us to see situations more objectively. Developing this habit helps us replace unhelpful thoughts with ones that empower and support growth. This practice ensures that negativity does not take root in our thinking, giving us the freedom to move forward with confidence. Practicing voluntary discomfort builds mental resilience by teaching us how to endure challenges intentionally. Engaging in activities that push us beyond comfort, whether through physical exertion, fasting, or new experiences, strengthens our ability to manage stress. These practices train the mind to remain calm in the face of adversity, creating a reserve of inner strength. Voluntary discomfort reinforces the belief that we are capable of handling difficulty, making real-life challenges feel more manageable. Surrounding yourself with positive influences ensures that the environment nurtures growth and well-being. The people we spend time with have a profound effect on our mindset. Positive influences encourage us to stay optimistic, helping us see possibilities rather than obstacles. These relationships provide support during tough times and inspire us to continue growing. When we curate our circle carefully, we create a space where positivity flourishes and negativity struggles to take hold. Finding meaning in adversity transforms hardship into an opportunity for personal growth. Challenges often carry valuable lessons, but these lessons are only visible when we shift our perspective. By seeking meaning in difficult moments, we develop resilience and gain wisdom. This practice helps us see adversity not as a setback, but as a stepping stone toward greater understanding and strength. With meaning comes the ability to face challenges with grace, knowing they are part of a larger journey. Engaging in self-care regularly ensures that we maintain the emotional and mental energy needed to stay resilient. Self-care is not selfish. It is a necessary foundation for well-being. Practices such as rest, exercise, and mindfulness replenish our resources, preventing burnout and helping us manage stress. When we care for ourselves, we are better equipped to handle challenges without being overwhelmed by negativity. Self-care fosters a healthy relationship with ourselves, creating space for joy and balance. Limiting exposure to toxic environments protects our well-being and mental clarity. Negative spaces, whether social, professional, or digital, can drain our energy and reinforce harmful thought patterns. Setting boundaries with toxic environments ensures that we preserve our emotional health. This practice allows us to focus on spaces that uplift and inspire us. When we intentionally choose where we invest our time, negativity has less power to affect us. Avoiding the trap of overthinking frees us from mental loops that create stress and confusion. Overthinking often magnifies problems, making them appear larger than they are. Learning to recognize when thoughts spiral helps us break the cycle and redirect our focus to constructive actions. By practicing mindfulness and staying present, we reduce the tendency to dwell on uncertainties. This shift brings clarity and peace, allowing us to respond thoughtfully to challenges. Reframing failures as opportunities for growth transforms setbacks into valuable lessons. Failure is not the end. It is a chance to learn, adjust, and try again. Each setback carries insights that guide us toward better choices in the future. Embracing failure as part of the process builds resilience and confidence. When we see mistakes as opportunities for improvement, we become more willing to take risks and pursue meaningful goals. This mindset helps us stay positive even when the path is difficult. These practices work together to create a mind that is strong, clear, and resilient. Strengthening the mind against negativity is an ongoing process. It requires consistent effort, but the rewards are profound. With each practice, we develop habits that support mental well-being, making it easier to navigate life's challenges with grace. A resilient mind allows us to stay connected to joy, even when circumstances are difficult, ensuring that negativity does not define our experience. A resilient mind helps us weather life's challenges, but it is the connections we build with others that give life its richness and meaning. Relationships provide comfort, joy, and perspective, helping us navigate both the highs and lows of life. True happiness is deeply intertwined with the quality of our connections, not the quantity. However, meaningful relationships require effort, vulnerability, and discernment. When we nurture the right connections and release those that no longer serve us, we create space for fulfillment and peace. The journey to deeper relationships is not always easy, but the rewards are profound. Building deeper, authentic relationships starts with being honest about who we are. Authenticity means showing up without masks or pretense, allowing others to know the real you. When we stop trying to impress and start being ourselves, we create space for genuine connection. Authentic relationships are built on trust, mutual respect, and shared values. They bring comfort in knowing that we are accepted for who we are, without needing to meet expectations. Recognizing and avoiding toxic connections protects our emotional health. Not every relationship serves our growth. Some drain energy and cause unnecessary stress. Toxic connections are marked by manipulation, control, or constant negativity. Learning to identify these patterns allows us to set boundaries or let go of relationships that hinder well-being. Releasing toxic connections creates space for healthier, more fulfilling relationships to thrive. Practicing vulnerability with trusted people strengthens relationships by fostering deeper emotional bonds. Vulnerability requires courage. It means sharing our fears, hopes, and struggles without the guarantee of acceptance. However, it is through vulnerability that real connection forms. When we allow others to see our true selves, we invite them to do the same. This mutual openness builds trust and creates a foundation for lasting, meaningful relationships. Giving without expecting anything in return transforms relationships into spaces of generosity and trust. True connection grows when we offer kindness, support, or time without attachment to outcomes. When we give freely, we strengthen the bond with those we care about. This practice shifts our focus from what we can gain to how we can contribute, deepening our sense of purpose within relationships. Acts of generosity also nurture gratitude, reinforcing the joy that comes from meaningful connections. Nurturing relationships that align with our values ensures that our connections reflect the life we want to build. Surrounding ourselves with people who uplift and encourage us creates a supportive environment for growth. These relationships inspire us to stay aligned with our values and goals, offering motivation during difficult times. Nurturing meaningful connections requires intention, investing time, listening actively, and showing appreciation for those who matter most. Stoic detachment strengthens relationships by teaching us to love without control or dependence. Detachment does not mean indifference. It means caring deeply while accepting that we cannot control others. When we release expectations of how people should act or feel, we create space for authentic connection. Stoic detachment helps us appreciate relationships as they are, not as we wish them to be, fostering acceptance and reducing conflict. Balancing independence with meaningful connection ensures that relationships complement rather than consume our lives. Healthy connections respect individual boundaries and personal growth. Independence allows us to cultivate a strong sense of self, which enriches relationships rather than detracting from them. When we find the right balance between personal space and emotional closeness, relationships become sources of joy rather than stress. Meaningful connections require effort, but they reward us with fulfillment and peace. They remind us that we are not alone, offering support in tough times and joy in moments of celebration. Each connection teaches us more about ourselves, deepening our understanding of love, trust, and acceptance. Through relationships, we learn the power of kindness, the value of patience, and the joy of shared experiences. Relationships are not static. They evolve over time, requiring continuous care and attention. Nurturing meaningful connections means being present, listening without judgment, and offering support when needed. It also means knowing when to let go, releasing relationships that no longer align with our growth. In both keeping and releasing, we find balance, ensuring that our connections remain sources of joy and strength. Meaningful connections bring joy and comfort, but life's uncertainties are unavoidable, and joy must learn to coexist with the unknown. The unpredictability of life can feel overwhelming, yet joy is not dependent on certainty. It emerges from how we respond to uncertainty, whether we resist it or learn to flow with it. Joy becomes sustainable when we develop the tools to navigate turbulent times with grace and trust. Rather than waiting for stability, we discover that joy is available in every moment, even when life doesn't go as planned. The ability to stay joyful amid uncertainty requires inner resilience, acceptance, and a deep understanding that life's twists and turns are part of the journey. Developing emotional resilience during turbulent times allows joy to remain steady, even when circumstances are difficult. Resilience helps us recover from setbacks and adapt to change without losing our inner peace. It involves accepting that challenges are inevitable but not insurmountable. Emotional resilience builds over time as we learn to respond to difficulties with patience and self-compassion. This mindset makes it possible to hold space for both joy and hardship without feeling consumed by either. Practicing gratitude, even when things go wrong, shifts our focus from what is lacking to what remains. Gratitude acts as a lifeline, grounding us in the present and reminding us of the good that still exists, even amid difficulty. It encourages us to acknowledge small blessings that might otherwise go unnoticed. When we cultivate gratitude during hard times, we find that joy can emerge from the simplest things: a kind word, a shared moment, or the warmth of connection. Trusting in life's natural flow without forcing outcomes reduces the tension that comes from trying to control what cannot be controlled. Life unfolds in ways we cannot predict, and joy becomes possible when we release the need to dictate how things should turn out. Trusting the flow of life does not mean giving up on goals. It means recognizing that some outcomes are beyond our control. This trust fosters a sense of freedom, allowing us to embrace whatever comes with openness. Finding joy in small, everyday moments teaches us that happiness does not depend on grand achievements. Ordinary moments, like a walk in nature, a meaningful conversation, or the smell of fresh coffee, can hold immense joy when we pay attention to them. By slowing down and savoring these experiences, we cultivate a habit of noticing joy in the present. These small moments accumulate, creating a steady undercurrent of happiness that sustains us through uncertain times. Understanding that uncertainty is part of life helps us stop resisting change. Life's unpredictability is not something to fix. It is a fundamental aspect of existence. When we accept uncertainty, we stop waiting for perfect conditions to be happy. This acceptance allows us to engage fully with life as it is, rather than as we wish it to be. Embracing uncertainty opens us to new possibilities and helps us find peace in the unknown. Stoicism offers practical tools to stay calm in chaos. The Stoic principle of focusing on what is within our control and letting go of the rest teaches us to remain grounded amid uncertainty. Stoicism encourages us to view challenges as opportunities for growth, helping us reframe difficulties in a way that fosters resilience. By practicing Stoic detachment, we learn to respond to chaos without being overwhelmed, cultivating inner peace even when external circumstances are beyond our control. Letting go of control brings a profound sense of peace. Control is often an illusion, and the attempt to manage every outcome creates unnecessary stress. Joy grows when we release the need to control everything and trust that life will unfold as it should. This surrender is not passive. It requires strength and courage to accept what we cannot change. Letting go allows us to focus on what truly matters, freeing us from the anxiety of trying to force outcomes. These practices work together to maintain joy amid life's uncertainties. Emotional resilience gives us the strength to navigate difficulties with grace. Gratitude keeps us connected to the present, while trust in life's flow frees us from unnecessary worry. Finding joy in everyday moments teaches us that happiness is always within reach, even when life feels uncertain. Understanding uncertainty as a natural part of life brings peace, while Stoic principles provide practical guidance for staying grounded. Letting go of control allows us to live with openness and freedom, creating space for joy to flourish in all circumstances. Finding joy amid uncertainty brings peace, but lasting happiness requires aligning your actions with a sense of purpose. When your daily choices reflect what truly matters to you, life feels meaningful even during challenging times. Purposeful living brings direction, anchoring your actions in values that create fulfillment rather than fleeting satisfaction. However, alignment does not happen by accident. It requires clarity, intention, and reflection. Without these, it is easy to drift into habits or goals that look productive on the surface, but pull you further from what brings true contentment. The journey toward purpose is not about perfection. It is about constant recalibration, making sure your actions reflect your deepest values. Defining what truly matters to you is the foundation of purposeful living. This process involves looking beyond what society or others say should matter and identifying what resonates deeply within you. Purpose arises from your unique experiences, values, and passions. It may take time to uncover, but knowing what matters most helps you navigate life with clarity. Purpose simplifies decision-making, acting as a compass that guides your actions in the right direction. Identifying goals that align with your values ensures that your efforts lead toward meaningful outcomes. Not all goals are created equal. Some may look impressive but lack personal significance. When your goals reflect your values, every step toward them feels purposeful. These goals give your life structure, motivation, and a sense of accomplishment. Aligning your goals with your purpose ensures that you are moving toward fulfillment, not just ticking off tasks. Purposeful living creates fulfillment by giving each action meaning. Even small tasks gain significance when they contribute to a larger purpose. This sense of fulfillment is not tied to external achievements, but comes from knowing that your actions are aligned with what matters most. Purpose transforms ordinary moments into opportunities for growth, making life feel rich and meaningful. With purpose, joy becomes sustainable, rooted in a deep connection to your values. Avoiding distractions that lead you off course preserves your energy for what truly matters. Distractions come in many forms: endless tasks, social pressures, or the pursuit of superficial success. They pull you away from your purpose, leaving you feeling unfulfilled despite your efforts. Purposeful living requires saying no to what does not align with your values. Each time you choose focus over distraction, you strengthen your commitment to living intentionally. Reflecting regularly ensures that your actions remain aligned with your purpose. Life is dynamic, and what feels purposeful today may evolve over time. Regular reflection helps you assess whether your goals and actions continue to align with your values. This practice creates space for course correction, allowing you to adjust your path as needed. Reflection deepens self-awareness, ensuring that your life remains meaningful and connected to your purpose. Aligning your actions with your purpose builds resilience by creating a sense of meaning during tough times. Purpose gives you something to hold on to when life becomes uncertain or difficult. It keeps you grounded, reminding you that each challenge is part of a larger journey. Knowing that your actions serve a purpose helps you persevere through setbacks, making it easier to stay motivated and engaged, even when progress is slow. Purposeful living simplifies decisions by providing clarity about what is truly important. When you are clear on your purpose, it becomes easier to distinguish between meaningful opportunities and distractions. Each decision becomes an opportunity to align your actions with your values, creating a life that feels coherent and intentional. This clarity reduces stress and indecision, freeing you to focus your energy on what matters most. Staying aligned with your purpose cultivates inner peace by removing the need for external validation. When your actions reflect your values, you feel confident in your path, regardless of others' opinions. Purposeful living allows you to trust yourself, knowing that you are following a path that resonates with your truth. This self-trust brings peace, as you no longer feel the need to chase approval or conform to expectations that do not align with your values. Purposeful actions build momentum, reinforcing positive habits and fostering long-term growth. Each aligned action strengthens your connection to your values, making it easier to stay on course. Momentum grows as small, purposeful actions accumulate, creating a sense of progress and fulfillment. This forward movement sustains motivation, ensuring that your purpose remains a guiding force in your life, even when challenges arise. The process of aligning your actions with your purpose is ongoing, requiring intention and flexibility. Purpose is not a destination. It evolves with your experiences, insights, and personal growth. Staying aligned requires regular reflection, adjustments, and a willingness to let go of what no longer serves your path. Purposeful living is a journey of discovery, where each step brings you closer to your true self and lasting happiness. Aligning your actions with your purpose brings clarity, but the journey toward lasting happiness also requires learning how to let go. Holding on to things that no longer serve you, whether relationships, regrets, or outdated beliefs, creates emotional weight that prevents you from moving forward. Letting go is not about forgetting or denying the past. It is about releasing attachments that drain your energy and keep you stuck. The art of letting go offers freedom, creating space for growth, peace, and clarity. It's a practice of acceptance, where you learn to honor your experiences without allowing them to define your future. Clinging to the past creates unhappiness by keeping us tethered to moments we can no longer change. When we dwell on past mistakes, missed opportunities, or moments of hurt, we relive the emotions attached to them. This constant replaying prevents us from fully engaging in the present. Letting go of the past does not mean erasing it. It means accepting it for what it was and recognizing that it no longer controls your life. Releasing the past allows you to reclaim your energy and refocus on what lies ahead. Toxic relationships and attachments drain your emotional well-being, creating unnecessary stress and conflict. Holding on to these connections, whether out of fear, guilt, or habit, limits your growth. Letting go of toxic relationships requires setting boundaries and choosing yourself over the fear of loss. It's an act of self-care, a commitment to surrounding yourself with people who uplift and respect you. Each time you release a relationship that no longer aligns with your well-being, you strengthen your capacity for joy and inner peace. Practicing non-attachment cultivates a sense of inner peace by freeing you from the need to control outcomes. Non-attachment does not mean indifference. It means engaging with life fully while accepting that nothing is permanent. This practice teaches you to appreciate experiences, relationships, and achievements without becoming dependent on them for happiness. When you release the need to possess or control, you open yourself to the flow of life, creating space for peace and contentment. Letting go of regret through self-forgiveness allows you to free yourself from the burden of past mistakes. Regret can become a heavy weight that prevents growth, trapping you in cycles of self-blame. Forgiving yourself involves acknowledging your mistakes, learning from them, and offering yourself the same kindness you would extend to others. Self-forgiveness restores your sense of worth, reminding you that you are not defined by your past, but by the choices you make moving forward. Stoicism offers powerful lessons on detachment, teaching us to let go gracefully. The Stoic principle of focusing only on what is within your control encourages you to release attachment to things outside your influence. This mindset helps you approach life with equanimity, accepting both joy and sorrow without clinging to either. Stoicism reminds us that change is inevitable and that true freedom comes from adapting with grace. Detachment becomes not an avoidance of life, but a deeper engagement with it, free from the fear of loss. Letting go creates space for new opportunities and personal growth. When you release what no longer serves you, whether relationships, regrets, or expectations, you open yourself to the possibilities of the present. Growth often requires shedding old patterns and beliefs to make room for new insights and experiences. This process may feel uncomfortable, but it is necessary for transformation. Letting go becomes an act of trust, a belief that what lies ahead will align with your growth and well-being. Each act of release strengthens your connection to inner peace. The weight of holding on diminishes with each step you take toward letting go. This practice is not about erasing the past, but about making peace with it. As you let go, you learn to carry your experiences lightly, without allowing them to dictate your future. Letting go becomes a way of life, a continuous process of releasing, growing, and embracing each moment as it comes. Letting go of the past and embracing the flow of life creates room for something even more valuable, the present moment. Happiness is not waiting in some distant future or buried in memories. It is found right here, in the now. Yet, the mind often pulls us away from the present, either dwelling on what has been or worrying about what might come. Learning to stay present offers a direct path to peace, joy, and fulfillment. The more we ground ourselves in the moment, the more we discover that life's beauty lies not in grand events, but in small, everyday experiences we often overlook. Happiness exists in the now because the future is uncertain and the past cannot be changed. When we place our joy in things yet to come, we distance ourselves from the contentment available in this moment. Similarly, holding on to the past prevents us from seeing the opportunities in front of us. The present moment is where life unfolds, offering the only space where we can truly engage, grow, and find joy. Each breath, each step, and each conversation is a chance to connect with what matters most. Mindfulness offers practical ways to bring awareness to the present. Through simple techniques like deep breathing, mindful walking, or observing your surroundings without judgment, you create moments of connection with the now. These practices do not require special tools, only your attention. Mindfulness allows you to fully experience what is happening, rather than rushing through life on autopilot. It encourages you to notice the details, the warmth of the sun on your skin, the sound of leaves rustling, or the taste of your morning coffee. Recognizing when your mind drifts to the past or future helps you gently return to the present. The mind naturally wanders, often replaying events or imagining scenarios that may never happen. When you become aware of these patterns, you regain control over where your focus lies. Awareness is not about forcing the mind to stay still. It's about gently guiding it back whenever it drifts. This practice builds mental clarity, making it easier to engage fully with each moment. Stoic teachings encourage presence by reminding us that the present is all we ever truly have. Stoicism emphasizes focusing on what is within our control, which always resides in the present moment. The Stoic practice of negative visualization, imagining life without the things we take for granted, teaches us to appreciate the now. It reminds us that life's moments, even the ordinary ones, are fleeting and valuable. This perspective cultivates gratitude, helping us see the present not as something to endure, but as something to cherish. Finding beauty in small, everyday moments brings a sense of wonder to life. Happiness is not found only in major achievements, but in the ordinary experiences that make up our days. The warmth of a shared smile, the joy of preparing a meal, or the quiet peace of sitting with a loved one all hold immense beauty when viewed with presence. Slowing down and savoring these moments creates a sense of contentment, showing us that joy is not far away. It's already here, waiting to be noticed. Practicing mindfulness daily strengthens your connection to the present. The more you engage with mindfulness, the easier it becomes to stay grounded. Over time, mindfulness becomes a way of being, not just an activity. You begin to notice the subtle shifts in your thoughts, emotions, and surroundings, allowing you to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. This awareness enhances your relationships, creativity, and overall well-being, deepening your experience of life. Being present allows you to fully engage with others, creating meaningful connections. When you listen with your full attention, without thinking ahead to your response or drifting into distraction, you create space for genuine connection. Presence builds trust and intimacy, strengthening relationships. It teaches you to appreciate the moments shared with others, recognizing them as precious gifts rather than obligations. The practice of presence also teaches you to accept life as it is, without trying to control every detail. Being fully present means releasing the need to force outcomes or predict the future. It allows you to embrace life's unpredictability with grace, knowing that you can handle whatever arises. This acceptance creates peace, freeing you from the anxiety of what-ifs and should-have-beens. It encourages you to flow with life rather than resist it. Living in the present moment enriches every aspect of life. It transforms ordinary activities into opportunities for joy, deepens your relationships, and brings clarity to your thoughts. It teaches you that happiness is not a distant goal, but a state of being available at any time. The present moment is where you find meaning, connection, and peace. The more you align with it, the more you realize that everything you need to experience joy is already here. Living in the present teaches us to embrace life as it unfolds, but the pace of the modern world often challenges that calm. In a society driven by instant results, cultivating patience feels like swimming against the current. However, patience is not just about waiting, it is about how we wait. Learning to move through life with patience builds emotional strength and resilience, allowing us to experience peace even when things don't move as quickly as we'd like. With patience, we find joy in the process instead of rushing toward the outcome, discovering that the moments we often hurry through are just as valuable as the ones we seek. Impatience creates unnecessary stress by setting unrealistic expectations. When we expect instant results, every delay feels like failure. This need for speed puts pressure on both ourselves and others, robbing us of peace and creating frustration. Patience teaches us to trust the natural rhythm of life, releasing the urgency that often leads to stress. It reminds us that not everything needs to happen right now, and that waiting is not wasted time. It is part of the journey. Embracing slow growth fosters lasting change by allowing us to build strong foundations. Quick fixes rarely lead to meaningful progress, and the pursuit of instant success often leads to burnout. Slow growth teaches us the value of persistence and consistency. It shows us that small, steady steps create sustainable change over time. When we accept the pace of gradual progress, we become more resilient and less discouraged by setbacks. Practicing delayed gratification builds mental strength, helping us resist the temptation of immediate pleasure. In a world of instant access, choosing to wait becomes a powerful act of discipline. Delayed gratification strengthens self-control, teaching us to prioritize long-term rewards over short-term satisfaction. Each time we practice waiting, we build resilience, reinforcing the belief that we can endure discomfort in the pursuit of something greater. Stoic reflection offers a way to remain calm during setbacks by focusing on what is within our control. When things don't go as planned, frustration can arise from trying to change what we cannot influence. Stoicism encourages us to reflect on our reactions, recognizing that peace lies not in controlling outcomes, but in mastering our response to them. This practice cultivates patience, allowing us to face challenges with equanimity rather than agitation. Finding joy in the waiting periods of life shifts our perspective from frustration to fulfillment. Waiting is often seen as an inconvenience, but it holds moments of beauty and insight if we approach it with presence. The time between milestones can be filled with growth, reflection, and discovery. Patience transforms waiting from a burden into an opportunity, teaching us to appreciate the process instead of rushing toward the result. Each act of patience strengthens our ability to remain present and grounded, even in a fast-paced world. Patience teaches us to trust that things will unfold in their own time, reducing anxiety and creating space for joy. It allows us to move through life with grace, knowing that growth takes time and that every step is valuable. With patience, we develop the resilience to handle life's delays with calm, finding fulfillment not only in reaching our goals, but also in the journey toward them. Patience teaches us that fulfillment is found in the process, not just the outcome, but redefining success is essential for sustaining happiness. Many chase conventional success only to find it leaves them feeling unfulfilled. Traditional metrics, like wealth, status, or accolades, promise satisfaction, yet they often lead to burnout and discontent. True happiness requires shifting our perspective, creating a personal definition of success that aligns with inner fulfillment and purpose. Success, when reimagined, becomes a way of living rather than a finish line to cross, inviting us to pursue meaning instead of chasing fleeting rewards. Traditional success metrics fail to guarantee happiness because they rely on external factors beyond our control. Wealth and recognition may bring temporary satisfaction, but they do not address the deeper need for connection, meaning, or peace. Relying on these metrics creates a cycle of constant striving, leaving little room to savor the present. Redefining success starts by recognizing that the things society celebrates do not always align with personal well-being or purpose. Creating your own definition of success allows you to live authentically. It involves identifying what brings joy and meaning into your life, independent of external opinions. Success becomes less about achieving certain milestones and more about engaging in activities that reflect your values. This shift empowers you to pursue a life that feels meaningful rather than one that looks impressive from the outside. When your definition of success aligns with your values, each step on the path becomes fulfilling. Prioritizing inner fulfillment over societal approval liberates you from the pressure to meet others' expectations. Inner fulfillment comes from knowing you are living according to your values, regardless of external recognition. This kind of success fosters peace and contentment because it does not rely on comparison or competition. It teaches you to trust yourself, recognizing that true happiness comes from within, not from the approval of others. Stoicism offers valuable insights into contentment by teaching us to detach from outcomes. Stoic philosophy emphasizes focusing on what is within our control, our actions, thoughts, and values, rather than external results. This mindset frees us from the anxiety of chasing success and encourages us to find contentment in the effort itself. Stoicism reminds us that we cannot control outcomes, but we can choose how we respond to them, creating peace regardless of what life brings. Living a life of purpose instead of chasing accolades redefines success as a journey of personal growth and contribution. Purpose gives direction, helping you engage with life meaningfully rather than being driven by the pursuit of status. When your actions align with your purpose, fulfillment becomes a natural byproduct, not a distant goal. A purposeful life teaches you to value the impact of your efforts, no matter how small, over the recognition they receive. This redefinition of success builds resilience by shifting the focus from perfection to progress. When success is measured by alignment with your values rather than flawless outcomes, setbacks become opportunities for learning rather than failures. Each step forward, no matter how small, reinforces your sense of accomplishment. This mindset encourages consistency, helping you stay motivated and engaged without the need for constant validation. By redefining success, you also create space for joy in everyday moments. When success is not tied to external achievements, you can appreciate the beauty of small experiences, whether it's meaningful conversations, creative pursuits, or moments of rest. This shift teaches you that success is not reserved for extraordinary events, but can be found in the ordinary rhythm of life. Joy becomes a companion on the journey, not a destination to reach. Living according to your personal definition of success nurtures self-respect. When you honor your values, you cultivate a sense of worth that is independent of others' opinions. This inner confidence strengthens your ability to make choices that align with your well-being, even when they go against societal norms. Success, redefined in this way, becomes a deeply personal experience, empowering you to live authentically and without regret. Redefining success fosters a sense of peace by releasing the need to prove yourself. When success is no longer about meeting external expectations, you experience freedom from comparison and competition. This freedom allows you to focus on personal growth and meaningful connections, creating a life that feels rich in purpose. Success becomes a state of being, rooted in the present and guided by your values, rather than a future goal to achieve. The process of redefining success invites ongoing reflection and adjustment. Your definition of success may evolve as you grow, and staying aligned requires self-awareness and flexibility. Regular reflection ensures that your actions continue to reflect your values, keeping you connected to what matters most. This practice creates a life that feels coherent and intentional, helping you navigate challenges with clarity and grace. Through this redefinition, success becomes a journey of self-discovery, creating lasting happiness rooted in meaning and purpose. Redefining success allows you to live with greater authenticity, but sustaining happiness requires intentional reflection each day. Daily reflections create a habit of mindful awareness, helping you stay connected to what matters most. They provide space to acknowledge wins, process challenges, and align your actions with your values. This practice shifts your mindset toward positivity and personal growth, ensuring that even on difficult days, you find meaning and joy. When reflection becomes part of your routine, happiness becomes less about fleeting moments and more about cultivating a lasting mindset grounded in gratitude, self-awareness, and purpose. Practicing gratitude in the morning and evening anchors your day in positivity. Beginning with gratitude sets a tone of appreciation, while ending the day with gratitude helps you reflect on what went well. This practice trains your mind to notice blessings, no matter how small, and reduces the tendency to focus on what's lacking. Over time, it builds a habit of seeing the good in each moment, creating a steady foundation for happiness. Reflecting on small wins daily reminds you that progress, not perfection, matters most. Recognizing these wins helps you appreciate your efforts, even when the results seem minor. This practice reinforces a growth mindset, showing that success is built through consistent actions. Small wins accumulate, motivating you to keep going and helping you find joy in the process rather than waiting for major milestones. Reviewing challenges as lessons, not failures, shifts your perspective from frustration to growth. Every setback holds a lesson that can guide you forward. Reflecting on challenges helps you identify what went wrong and what you can do differently next time. This practice reduces the fear of failure by reframing mistakes as opportunities for improvement. It fosters resilience, reminding you that growth often comes from discomfort. Journaling about what brings you joy deepens your awareness of the moments that uplift you. Writing regularly about joyful experiences helps you identify patterns, whether it's time spent with loved ones, creative pursuits, or moments in nature. This practice makes it easier to prioritize activities that nourish your happiness. It also serves as a reminder that joy can be found in everyday life, not just special occasions. Asking, "Did I live according to my values today?" helps you stay aligned with your purpose. This simple question encourages daily reflection on whether your actions reflect your core beliefs. When your choices align with your values, you experience greater peace and fulfillment. This practice keeps you accountable, ensuring that you live intentionally rather than reacting to circumstances. It strengthens your connection to what truly matters. Practicing self-compassion through reflection nurtures emotional well-being. Reflecting on how you treat yourself, especially during difficult times, encourages kindness and understanding. Self-compassion reminds you that it's okay to have off days and that growth is not always linear. This practice reduces self-criticism and promotes inner peace, making it easier to move forward with grace and patience. Identifying what to let go of each day prevents emotional clutter from building up. Reflecting on thoughts, habits, or emotions that no longer serve you creates space for renewal. Letting go is a daily practice of release, helping you shed the weight of unnecessary stress. This habit keeps your mind clear and focused, allowing you to engage fully with the present moment. Celebrating moments of peace and contentment reminds you that happiness is not only found in excitement, but also in quiet moments of stillness. Reflecting on these moments teaches you to appreciate calm and simplicity. It encourages you to slow down, savoring the beauty of ordinary experiences. This practice helps you recognize that peace is not the absence of challenges, but a state of mind cultivated through presence. Tracking emotional triggers and responses increases self-awareness and emotional intelligence. Reflecting on what triggers certain emotions helps you understand patterns and respond thoughtfully instead of reacting impulsively. This practice empowers you to manage emotions with clarity, reducing the impact of negative thoughts. Over time, it strengthens your ability to stay calm and centered, even in stressful situations. Ending each day by focusing on what went right rewires your brain for positivity. It shifts your attention from what didn't go as planned to the moments of success, joy, and connection. This practice helps you close the day on a positive note, reinforcing a mindset of gratitude. It also prepares your mind for restful sleep, creating a sense of completion and peace. When you end each day with reflection, you cultivate a steady rhythm of happiness that carries into the next. These daily reflections work together to build a happiness mindset that is resilient, intentional, and grounded. Each reflection creates space for growth, gratitude, and alignment with your values. They help you appreciate progress, release negativity, and savor the beauty of ordinary moments. With consistent practice, these reflections become more than habits. They become a way of living, ensuring that happiness is not something you search for, but something you create moment by moment. Happiness is not hidden in the future, nor is it locked away in external success. It's here, waiting to be uncovered in the choices you make each day. By releasing toxic attachments, redefining success, embracing patience, and aligning your actions with purpose, you step closer to a more meaningful life. Living in the present moment, practicing daily reflection, and nurturing connections that uplift your soul ensure that happiness becomes a lasting mindset, not a fleeting emotion. Every small shift matters, and with intentional practice, true joy becomes your companion, even amid life's uncertainties. Now, it's your turn. What small change will you make today to strengthen your happiness mindset? Share your thoughts or favorite lesson from this journey in the comments below. Your story could inspire someone else to take the first step toward joy. If this resonated with you, hit the subscribe button and tap the bell so you never miss content designed to empower your journey. Let's grow together, one step at a time.